What's up, boys? It's Doc, and today we're going to be showing you what 5,000 hours looks like in MX bikes. We're going to do a lap or two on my favorite outdoor track here, which is Mouse Moto Park, and then we'll switch over to Supercross so you can see what that looks like as well. But before we get too far, I kind of want to just do a little introduction to myself. If you haven't seen any of my videos, my name's Reaper Doc, or you know, my actual name's Chauncey, which is crazy, by the way. But anyway, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna talk about why do I have so many hours, and what have I achieved, if anything, in those 5,000 hours of basically not touching grass playing this game. Well, a couple years ago, I got hurt, and I got an issue. I have some issues with my brain, and so that left me pretty much without a job and, you know, with not a lot to do. And so I started playing games again just for fun, and then started making content, and things started taking off. Well, basically I've been playing MX bikes full-time as my full-time job for the last almost 3 years. So that's why I have absolutely 10 bajillion hours. Content has been my full-time gig for the last few years, and in that time I've actually never competed until this year. I'm competing in my first pro series. Now, I've done some pro races, but I've never like committed to a pro series and race, because I was always doing something to help the community, like casting or kind of working in the back, you know, in the back end. But this is the first year I've actually committed to racing Supercross professionally, I guess, if you will, in the game, which is a silly thing to say. Supercross and motocross and MXGPs will all be doing the pro races. But you know, we just had our first pro race, and I got 10th, which isn't great for having 5,000 hours. That's really not ideal, you know. But some cool accolades from having 5,000 hours is, you know, MX Bikes did its first LAN event this year, well, in 2023, where they had a month of qualifiers, and they took the quote-unquote 10 best players in the world and flew them out to Italy to compete in a LAN event. Well, we were able to get into that. That was I think I was 10th. I qualified 10th for that, so I was the last spot, and we barely snuck in there. We ended up getting 8th in the actual event, and I won a all expenses paid trip back to Europe for me and my wife to go to some cool races over there. So, you know, it's been pretty cool, but mostly I've just been playing and making content, which is where all those hours comes from. And I will say that these 5,000 hours, I can't really tell you if they're like true 5,000 hours, because, well, you know, I've done a lot of content creation, a lot of streaming, and, you know, a lot of thumbnail design, and so there's got to be a crazy amount of hours of the game just being open in the background. But you know, obviously it's still a crazy amount of playtime. I would say that I like to think I'm better at Supercross than outdoors, but you know, I don't know. Sometimes I make that, you know, I kind of make that difficult on myself when I'm just kind of a bot at Supercross. But I've also gone through a lot of like a crazy amount of setting changes. I used to play on literally basically the complete opposite settings that I do now, so I've had to relearn the game a few times, and I'm not using that as an excuse. I actually think that's helped me really learn and understand the game, I think better than most people, because I've played it kind of at every possible you know, every possible way. I've played every style. I've played the game, and so I feel like I understand the physics. I am a MX Bikes coach. That is a thing, which is crazy to me. People really that are getting new, you know, that are new and getting into the game, if you're looking for the edge, you can go to mxb-coach.com and look me up, and you can book a session with me. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, as far as, you know, some people, there are some people with significantly less hours than me that are just as good, if not, you know, a lot better at the game than I am. And I think that just proves that like hours doesn't mean everything. There's certainly diminishing results when it comes to, you know, hours and the time you put in the game. At first, the more time you can put into the game, the better. But, you know, I'm 30 years old. I got 2 kids, a wife, a mortgage. You know what I mean? Like, we got, I don't know. It's just, the fingers just don't work like they used to. And neither does my brain, because I got some injuries and whatnot. But, you know, I mean, I would like to think that we're one of the better players in the game, but, you know, unfortunately, I think for, oh my goodness, for how many hours I have, I probably should be a bit better at the game, but, you know, that's all right. I really just enjoy playing the game at the ability level that I have, and I think what we should do, I think we should move over to Supercross and talk about some of the things that I've learned in those 5,000 hours. All right, boys, we're over here on some Supercross. I did switch bikes over to the KTM because the KTM just seems to be better in Supercross. And let's talk about the things that I've learned in the 5,000 hours of playing MX bikes. Really, like, when it really just comes down to playtime in some ways, right? I was talking about that a little bit ago, but after you've been playing the game a certain amount, you're gonna hit a wall, and there's a few things that you can do to work through that wall of getting better. One of them is just continue to grind until you eventually figure out why you were going so slow, and the other one is really like studying the pros, the really fast guys, like the top, you know, the top 450 guys right now are all just kind of insanely fast. And I think you'll come to understand that what makes people fast in this game is just a bunch of little tiny minute adjustments. It's very similar to real life, in my opinion, in that aspect where, you know, it's one thing to go through a rhythm section or it's one thing to get around a track, but it's these little tiny adjustments to the player and the bike that really make, you know, someone really fast. And it comes down to, oh, all right, well, we're just gonna jump off the course. That's my first mistake of the video, so we'll take it. We'll take it. We were, what are we, 6 minutes in the video or something? It comes down to sitting and standing at the right times. And I don't just mean, you know, like you would going through bumps or whoops or whatever like that, but like understanding the physics of when to sit and when to stand on a straightaway, or when, you know, going through this sand section, you know, you could see on my controller that I'm kind of spamming sitting and standing at times, and just understanding the physics, understanding, oh, another mistake, understanding where to push, when not to push. And I think one of the most impressive things about people with, you know, a high ability level in this game is how to not crash when they make a mistake. And that's not just slowing down, but how they adjust their rider to offset, you know, a weird kick or whatever. I think that that's one of the more difficult things to learn in the game, because I think it takes, you know, tens of hundreds or thousands of hours of getting the same, you know, having the same issues, and having them enough times to be able to correct them over and over and over again before you actually just kind of instinctively know what it is. But yeah, like this is 5,000 hours in bikes, you know. I mean, I don't think I'm the best player in the world, but I definitely don't think I'm bad, and I've held my share of world records. I've done well as far as the, you know, the land goes. That was a huge accomplishment, and I think I'll do really well in this upcoming Supercross season. Hopefully, you know, you guys aren't watching this back later. Hopefully I don't get a bunch of comments of this didn't age well, but I really do believe I'll do well in that Supercross season, and hopefully the upcoming MXGP season. But man, I was actually watching some footage back of some older videos of mine when I had around 500 hours, and the progression is really, it's kind of hard to tell in some ways, but like the lap times really prove it. You know, it really looks like I'm going so much faster now than I was, or the lap times show that I'm going so much faster, but sometimes it can kind of look like you're doing the same thing. I think a lot of people struggle with that. You know, a lot of people get on the game and they're like, man, I'm hitting the same rhythms. I feel like I'm scrubbing, and these guys are just going seconds faster, and what is that, you know, how and why? And I really just think that comes down to those minute things I was talking about earlier, when you're braking, when you're not braking, sitting and standing, that kind of stuff. And really, I think the most important thing that I've learned in this game in 5,000 hours is corner entry. That's probably the biggest tip after all these freaking hours. Corner entry, making sure you're not entering ruts like this, where you have to kind of come at them, you know, and be all janky, but making sure that you're getting into them where they're supposed to be. This game is built off of a street bike game, unfortunately. So that basically just means that the game is all momentum based. The more you can carry your speed, the better. This is why I can basically drag my bars around a flat corner like that. And obviously, you know, obviously momentum is good, but there's something different about this game than other motorcycle games that it's just so much more momentum based that I think it kind of catches people off guard a little bit. I used to want to play the game like real life, where I could kind of slow down in, you know, roll a jump and then double out, or slow down and pivot in a corner, and it's just not possible, really. You know, you really just have to kind of swing everything wide and just try to keep as much speed as possible, not touching brakes, and just kind of grinding, you know. But anyway, I hope this video was helpful for you or was interesting. Hopefully this video has some new viewers. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and hit the like button as well. It really does help me out a lot. We're on our road to 20K, boys. 20,000 subscribers, which is absolutely just beyond me, man. Just absolutely crazy. I am so blessed by your guys' support. And I am just thankful for everything that, oh my gosh, that whoops run was so mid. But I'm just so thankful for everything. We've had some incredible couple of months here, and I'm just blessed. And thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be able to play play bikes, you know, for a living. Really, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for the people watching and becoming members of the channel and donating and everything. None of this would be possible. So I am just beyond grateful for you, and this is a kind of a big milestone for me. I've only been playing the game for a few years, and it's a big one. You know, 5K is kind of crazy. So just thank you. And after 5,000 hours, I can honestly say I'm still enjoying the game. There are obviously days when it is more fun than others, and there are days when it is definitely less fun than others. But man, I still love it. And you know what's crazy is, after 5,000 hours, I still think I'm learning. You know, I still think I'm getting better, and I still don't think I've hit my ceiling. And the guys that are so much faster than me, I don't think that they've hit their ceiling. The game is really fascinating in that way, where I think that you can just constantly progress, and it's a really unique game in that opinion. So if you're interested in a game with a very, very high ceiling, this would be the game for you, because really, no matter how good you get, you can always improve, and there's always someone that's going so much faster. Seems like every day now there's like some new person setting some crazy world record or something. So if you enjoy a game with a challenge, MX Bikes is definitely a good one. But anyway, thank you, boys. Thank you for an amazing couple of months already. Amazing 2024 already. And thank you for the opportunity that you guys have given me to play bikes. And I love you, and I hope that you guys have a blessed day. Here's a fat whip for you. Oh my gosh.